you're watching Asub TV now, and this is a brand new program that comes on your way that seeks to change the mindset of Africans. My name is Salim Saidy, and my guest for today's show is the President of African Students Union in Bolu, Mr. Yahya Sonko. Mr. Sonko, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Going straight to the point, Africa as a continent has 1.1 billion people across 44 countries. But whenever you switch on your TV, the images that you see is of death, poverty, famine, and of course, host of others. How do we change these narratives?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for the invitation to this program. As you just mentioned, you are absolutely right about that. The African image is not good in the international stage. That is death, poverty, wars, and a lot of terrorism and stuff like this. So this is accepted, and everyone knows this. But now, how can we change this? I am not saying that all these things are true, because we know that the media is constantly on the one side, the negative side of Africa. But how we can change the little we have? First of all, it's supposed to start with dignity, principles, and standard and leadership. Leadership is the key here. Imagine African leaders are constantly begging on international stages. How do you think the image over in the country or the young people will take example from these leaders? So, which means everything has to start with leadership. Africa should start Africa beyond it in general, all over the continent. So the leaders or the young leaders or the young people in the country, they can see that these are our leaders. They have their dignity, and our survival and everything, our prosperity does not depend on the outside, it must depend on Africans themselves. We are 55 countries all over the continent. 54, but except when Western Sahara become independent from Morocco. But among all this, let me just say 54 as at now. These 54 countries, imagine there is a free trade among all of us. I mean ideal free trade, not like free trade by documents, but you going by through borders and still you are paying some customs from border to border, or you paying different taxes from or bribes to say it, the right one should be the bribe. To pay bribe from border to border, it's not working in this way. So which means Africa's survival, Africa's prosperity, Africa's progress depend on Africans and Africa continent, to be precise.
Well, if you talk about the change in the mindset, some will tell you when a president of a certain country is sick, he goes outside to cure himself. When the daughter is, seeking for education, he goes outside to educate. But how do we change the mindset of our young people? And how important is changing this mindset?
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying, I'm just coming back to this. Example, we have 1.4 or 1.3 billion people in Africa. There are a lot of resources. Almost, they said, a recent article suggests that world 30% resources, all of them are in Africa. And most of these resources are untapped, which means no one uses them. They are still there. But now, a country of something like, example, Nigeria, a country of 182 million people, or maybe South Africa around 46 or 50 million, when their leaders are sick and they have to go to England for 3 months for cure, which means there is no one hospital that leader built where he can cure, and most of their kids are studying abroad. Why are they not building a qualitative school? This concept, don't get it twisted, like we need inter-exchange of ideas between countries. But you need to be in your country to change with other countries among some ideas and some culture, because young people are in a pace of forming their own culture. Almost we all have the same culture. You click one touch on your Facebook or in your Instagram, you see a kids in America, you see kids in Europe, kids in England, they see, and we talk about stuff, we talk about culture and interesting stuff. So the world is a small global. I accepted this, but Africa should believe in Africans, because even when you say Western education, like when they bring it up, this curriculum does not match with African culture and African curriculum. We're supposed to be learning about our forefathers, how they built those empires, how the caste systems was built, what were the functions of this caste system. These are some of the things that Africans need to know very well. Technology, of course, we need technology because this modern day economy, technology is the key. So you can make cooperation or collaboration with countries that are
Absolutely.
ahead of you. But these things should be based on respect, not like in a begging way. Because you have something that one country don't have and one country have something that you don't have. But when you come together, then you can just make a collaboration that can work between.
And this comes to my mind, there is one prominent politician in the Gambia called Halifa Sallah. He once said that Africa, we gained independence more than half a century ago. But when you look at Africans, still we are mentally enslaved. Do you buy that idea?
Yes, I accept it and I buy the idea and I'm fully behind that idea. We are completely mentally enslaved because when your food is just, you are not the one providing your own food, then which means you are still dependent on another one who is providing your food. So unless Africa is fully in charge of their all sectors, then Africa is not fully independent.
So where do you think the problem lies?
The problem lies precisely in leadership. Even without thinking about this, I would say leadership.
Right there, do you have hope on the current African leaders?
Yes, absolutely. I have hope because there is progress, but the progress is going very slow. Yes, recently we have seen the change of few leaderships that are really promising, that they are bringing a lot of prosperity to the African continent. Example, the president of Rwanda, Ghana, and few other, and even South Africa. So these people, there is accountability. We have seen this one. There is function of parliaments, and also the judiciary is functioning in most of the countries now. But still, there are few countries that African Union, they should come up and try to handle those ones very well.
Now, what role should the African leaders, as country heads, play in making sure that the youth of those countries stays in their country and develop their nation?
Yes, the young people, they should stay in Africa, but African leaders cannot just tell them by words, stay in the country and develop your country. Young people are so energetic and they never see all these things. You understand? So now they have to make sure they create a very good platform for them to stay. Provide a good education system for them in the country. Provide a very work opportunity for them. They see that when I graduated from my country or graduated outside the country, I have a place to work. Provide these things for them. And after then you can see stay, and they can stay. Because when they go outside, there is nothing like home anywhere in the world. When they go outside, then they will see that, hey, I have to go back to my country and contribute a little I can do for my country. But first of all, the leaders, they have to make sure that there is accountability, and also there is prosperity, and the platform is very conducive for the youths to stay and work.
Where do you see Africa in the next 50 years?
Absolutely, I'm seeing Africa in a very nice way. Because first of all, they said a problem is solved when you first of all identify there is problem. We Africans, we understand and we identify that we have a problem, and the problem is leadership, and the problem is technology, and the problem is industrialization, and the problem is unity, and the problem is migration. So these are the problems we have within the continent. So how can we stop these problems? So some people are working towards this, and we have good partners, some of the good partners outside, but Africans should really be careful with some of the partners, because some partners are neo-colonial projects and they are not good for Africa. They know what they want there. They want the natural resources. They want to make their countries, because the only untapped market right now in the world is African continent. So people need Africa more than Africa need them.
So to wrap up, what's your final words to African leaders and of course the Africans that are living on the continent?
Okay, my final word will be, let leaders take in charge of what they are doing and in charge of everything in their country. And when there is a problem in any African country, let African Union take care of this problem, and the outside world can be their partner, but not outside world controlling or try to solve African problems. Let's solve our African problems in African way.
Well, let's let African leaders take charge of their problem. Those are the words of Yahya Sonko, the president of African Students Union in Bolu, Asub. Well, that's all we have for you for this special edition. Do join us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for more interesting programs. Bye from me now.